There's not a whole lot of room at the top in WWE. I'd go so far as to say the dizzying heights of the main event scene have almost never been occupied by everybody on the roster who deserved it. As such, the constant juggling act beneath that must be a nightmare for creative, constantly having to make sure that everyone who needs to look strong, and everybody who doesn't isn't getting so badly pummeled there's no way back for them. Like spinning plates, but the plates are all made from shaved meat and will call you a dickhead on Twitter if you drop them. But drop them they do though, and no matter how bright the future looks for certain superstars in Vinnie Mac's sweaty attack shack, sometimes their incredible potential is just never realised. Quite often this is a gradual thing, but just like Bart Simpson freeze-framing Ralph's exact moment of heartbreak, sometimes you can pinpoint the precise moment a wrestler's push takes a shit on the nice rug and dies. Anyway, in the midst of my own inevitably disastrous run in the main event scene, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 exact moments we gave up on a WWE wrestler's push. Number 10. Baron Corbin. Big Barry Sadbelly was hotly tipped to be the next big breakout star of SmackDown, and over a year on from his Andre the Giant Battle Royal win, Corbin had cut a path through various feuds and scalps and found himself in possession of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, of the 18 times the briefcase has been cashed in, only Damien Sandow before him had then gone on to comically fail to win the match. A clear sign then, as it was now, that the rug was being pulled on any future main event plans. Corbin made his play, got rolled up by Jinder Mahal, and will now be getting held back further than his own hairline. Number 9. Maven. Maven had a funny old career in WWE. Not funny like the Fashion Files are funny though, more funny in the sense of why the fuck was Nydia from Tough Enough sat next to Lita at the Hall of Fame? Like, are they friends? Could Lita not get a date? Did she not know that I was in Florida and that was my night off? My DMs are open, Amy. Why are we still pretending this isn't real? Anyway, Maven's career began with the mother of all upsets when he eliminated big evil Kelsey Grammer from the 2002 Royal Rumble, and even fell into something resembling a feud with Chris Jericho for the Undisputed title. Things looked promising for him, but just like when you went to university, he did absolutely nothing for 2 years. WWE resolved to try again with their reality star and shoehorned him into a feud with Evolution, but sadly someone pointed out to them that Shelton Benjamin had already occupied Raw's sole plucky underdog spot, and there was no more room in the inn. Take your pick for the exact moment when his push died though. I mean, was it when his awful heel run culminated in Benjamin himself rolling him up for a cheap win, or was it when he tried making fun of a Puerto Rican crowd for speaking Spanish? I will accept either answer. Number 8. Carlito. I really liked Carlito. He was really good in the ring, his gimmick entertained me no end, and I just love apples, so what wasn't to like? That said though, I'm repeatedly told by my more learned colleagues that there was always something missing from the second generation superstar, and that's why he inherited that Billy Gunn habit of repeatedly running his finger around the edge of the main event scene without ever actually sticking his tongue in. Who else to cement his exact point of no return though than your pal and mine, America's #1 shovel spokesman, Triple H. Returning from injury in 2007, he quickly set about making sure anyone who was looking twice at the championship was promptly put back in their lane, and come unforgiven, it was Carlito's turn. Despite getting his own personal no disqualification rule, he still lost after a swift kick in the old dick, and there's not really any coming back from that. Number 7. Muhammad Hassan. Now, drawing absolutely no comparisons with any incredibly unpopular wrestlers, WWE decided to push Muhammad Hassan as that good old trope of foreign heel doing really foreign things. Boo. Boo this man. He wears silly clothes, and you probably can't pronounce any of his food. Sadly for Muhammad, who, and remember, I'm drawing no comparisons here, was in a spot way beyond that which his actual wrestling ability really merited, WWE began to attract some criticism for the character. Having an Arab American attack the fans for their supposed post-9/11 prejudice, while a number of other terrorist attacks were happening across the globe, put the right up every single television executive. WWE, happy to oblige, had The Undertaker give him the last ride off the top of a ramp and promptly removed him from SmackDown. A few months later, he was unceremoniously released from his contract and promptly retired from professional wrestling forever. Number 6. Scott Steiner. Let's face it, if you're a legend within the wrestling industry, one of the biggest stars of latter-day WCW, and the build-up to your arrival sees general managers of both brands fighting for your signature, you're obviously destined for big things in WWE, yeah? No, of course you're not. Triple H exists, you dummy. Instead, Big Papa Pump, as I'm 100% convinced he insists women call him at all times, had one of the most drab world title feuds in living memory. He got 2 championship shots at consecutive pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania 19, and when the show of shows came around, couldn't even get on the card. Surely a very deflating program for him. Hey, get it deflating, eh? Because he looks like 200 balloons stuck together? Hey? Number 5, Shelton Benjamin. Now, here's a twist on an old classic, as Trips was actually more responsible for Shelton Benjamin's push than he was his burial. After arriving with Charlie Haas in Team Angle, Benjamin got his big break as a singles competitor with three victories over Triple H. That's 3 times more than CM Punk was ever afforded. Getting the rub off the King of Kings managed to almost instantly cement Benjamin in Raw's aforementioned plucky underdog role, his career peaking when Shawn Michaels attempted to surgically remove his head. But then the losing streak started, which in of itself was quite an interesting angle to go down, but the moment WWE introduced Shelton's air quotes mama to the scene, we all realised this was never ever going to end well. Imagine your mother turning up at your work, dabbing that handkerchief they all keep up their sleeve, wiping your face in front of all your colleagues, and then you trying to be taken seriously afterwards. Number 4, Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam, or Robbery Vandal Damage to use his full name, was arguably the least likely champion WWE had seen in a generation, but one who saw his push go up in smoke. Get it? Go up in smoke? Because he was caught smoking up in smoke? See, I can't do jokes, I just choose not to. Anyway, about 3 weeks after he took the title from John Cena at ECW's now legendary One Night Stand, he found himself busted on an anonymous stretch of motorway somewhere in Ohio. It's not a good idea to get caught with marijuana if you're a quiet, glazed-over skater called Chet, never mind the face of one of the biggest entertainment brands in the world. Sure enough, he dropped the belt to Edge on Monday Night Raw later that same week, and we never saw him in the title picture again. Oh, robbery, what could have been? Number 3, Booker T. If Randy Orton is living proof of 2 things, it's 1, the good really do die young, and 2, you can recover from a WrestleMania defeat to Triple H. But when your opponent takes upwards of 26 seconds to pin you after nailing their finishing move and still gets an unchallenged 3 count, it's kind of difficult to be taken seriously as a main event caliber wrestler ever again. 26 seconds. After the build-up to WrestleMania gave us the hope of seeing Book reach the heights he did in WCW, it took them 26 seconds to extinguish that forever. A loss wouldn't have been the end of the world, but having him make the pedigree look that fucking strong showed exactly what management thought of him. Now, I know it seems like I'm mentioning Triple H a lot here, but don't worry, that's absolutely the last time you'll hear his name in this list. Only joking. Number 2, Zack Ryder. While many people looked to Kane throwing him off the ramp in a wheelchair as the moment they realised WWE had no plans for Zack Ryder, a far more telling tale was woven in a dark segment on Raw months prior. With his own YouTube show at the absolute height of its popularity, Zack Ryder stuck his head out at the end of the show to give the crowd one of those great go-home happy moments you hear so much about, and would you Adam and Eve it, ended up getting buried by Triple H. Despite the fact both were undeniably top faces at the time, the game planted him, ripped on his show, mocked his catchphrase, and WWE promptly uploaded the entire sorry incident to their own YouTube channel. Thus began the slow process of making Ryder look a complete joke. Oh, Trips, what are you like, lad? Number 1, Mr. Kennedy. There are a few moments you could point to as the end of Mr. Kennedy's push. The time injury cost him his Money in the Bank briefcase, cashed in by Edge a week later, for instance, or perhaps better still, the time he took himself off Randy Orton's Christmas card list. But the exact moment we all gave up hope was when Hornswoggle was revealed as Vince McMahon's long-lost, illegitimate son on Raw. This was a story literally custom-made to push Mr. Kennedy, and yet the company instead went for a few cheap laughs over the opportunity to push him into the main event scene. The plan, it's since been revealed, had been to have Kennedy as McMahon's son, make him the top heel, give him kayfabe control of the company, cheat his way to the title before eventually losing both at WrestleMania to Triple H. To Triple H? Are you f***ing kidding me? I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm completely done. I'm out.